The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine podcast and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Hello. Today I have the privilege of connecting with Julie Beck, Sovereign Magazine's Perimenopause or Peri-Power columnist. She is a spiritual life coach who helps women step off life's treadmill to rediscover their purpose and reconnect with their true selves. After experiencing perimenopause and burnout, she learned to slow down, set boundaries, and prioritize self-care, a journey that inspired her to guide others through similar transitions. Blending crystals, energetic connection, and practical coaching, she now offers a holistic approach rooted in her background in a career of guidance and well-being. She empowers women to navigate perimenopause with clarity, alignment, and inner peace while creating lives that feel balanced, fulfilled, and authentically their own. So welcome, Julie.
Welcome, Nicole.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Today we are exploring finding balance, which is our theme for our April full moon issue. And in your article, Finding Balance During Perimenopause, you really frame life as a transition and not necessarily something that we need to endure. That it really is this powerful invitation to pause and reevaluate and even reconnect with ourselves more deeply. So for those who haven't read your article yet, maybe perhaps share a little bit more about it and why you wrote it.
Yeah, so I wrote this article because I found with working with clients quite recently, there's such a powerful surge of women who are going through the perimenopause that feel very lost, very disconnected, and totally out of balance. And when I've been speaking to these clients, they've just said, I feel like the pace of life is so fast that I don't have a minute for myself. And when they actually strip down how their day looks, they have virtually no time for themselves. They are caregivers, they are mums, nurturers, career women, and all of a sudden they hit the perimenopause where their hormones start to wobble. And then they're not allowing their own self to slow down to cope with this change in their body. So what they find is they're still expecting to run at 100 miles an hour like they did in their 20s and 30s while they're keeping all the plates spinning, but they're not giving anything more to themselves and they're expecting the same from their body. And it just comes to a grinding halt where things start to wobble. So for me, writing this article was just about simplifying the process of saying, first of all, it's okay to slow down. It really is. It's okay to actually look after yourself and nurture yourself. It's so important. And I think as a lot of us are caregivers, we're so used and very good at giving care to other people, but we're not very good at accepting it ourselves. And that's because we are so strong and we're so powerful and we've been doing it for so many years. But then when we actually need the help, we've almost like got to relearn how to allow to receive. And it is very important to actually break it down into easy steps that people can actually follow, because it's almost like learning to ride a bike again. You're like, oh, where does that leave me? It was a powerful step to actually put this into words to help people who just feel they may already know they're in the perimenopause, but some women may not. And as we know, the perimenopause can throw us quite a few hurdles, but for some they could soar through it. But the majority of women do notice a few changes, both mentally and physically, and then throw into the mix the spiritual side, the energetic side, where you feel disconnected. So there's a lot going on for women at this time.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I remember the distinct moment where somebody said to me, Nicole, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everything. And my answer back was, but then who's going to do it? And I remember this distinct moment where I was battling between the fact that I really believed it wouldn't get done if I did not do it, or that it wouldn't get done well or the way I preferred. And then there came a point at which I was like, I don't really care anymore. Like, somebody else can do it. And if it gets done and it's not to my standards, like, my standards changed to I'm more important versus I want that thing done in a certain way. And so I was really being called to release what I once defined as I'm important to all of these other jobs to I'm important to myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so powerful to actually say those words. And a lot of us may think, oh, yeah, that's quite good. Or someone reminds you about it or suggests it in a journaling prompt. But then if you don't actually put it into practice, you're never going to make steps forward. And it is true. It's such a powerful thing to say, hold on a minute. What is going on here? Let me just gather my thoughts. Let me just take a breath and actually say, no, I'm putting myself first. It is a really powerful thing to do. And it causes like a chain reaction of things. And it does cause a fallout to start with because people go, what is going on? Are you feeling all right? And then they start to go, oh, you're a little bit snappy. But it is the transition of the perimenopause that does take you through this strange journey where your resilience is a lot smaller. You don't have that buffer of, oh, yes, that's fine. I've just pile it on. I'll do that. You do not want to take on too much at this time. So you start to think, I have to say no to this. But it gets very hard. And at the start, I think a lot of women don't know how to say no politely. They think, oh, well, I'm just being rude. So they keep saying yes, but they're like cringing, going, I didn't really mean to say that. And I've got no time to do all this. And when you start adding things on, that's where things start to buckle. And then even though you know mentally you need to make changes, if you don't make them and stand up for yourself, then the body takes over and the body goes, we're going to slow you down. We're going to put you into safe mode and just let you get along with the basics. And you don't really want that to happen. You don't want to head towards burnout before you actually take note.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember the first few times I had to say no, it felt so hard and so strange in my body, like I was letting them down and I was always that person that was there. And I learned to shift my language away from a no to perhaps can we do it a different way, right? So in interjecting my preferences into the situation versus them always dictating how it had to be. And I often found that in that negotiation, my no would turn to a yes because it was done either in a timeline that I preferred or in a way that I preferred. And so I was no longer apologizing for the no, because if they came back with, no, it has to be that way, then I'd be like, okay, it's a no. And I tried to work with you, which was very important to me, right? To make myself feel as though I was an active participant in being helpful, which is part of who I am. But, it's that energy. And I always say, and I don't know if we can say this, so hopefully I don't get in trouble, but people label it as bitchy, but it's being boundaried. I don't say that it's bitchy when, we've said yes so much that people forget. And so when we become boundaried, we get labeled, like you were mentioning. And so
absolutely.
Where do you think that, you were talking about some powerful steps that people can take. And I think this is a perfect time for us to go into our steps to your sovereign self segment, because you talk about the ABCs of feminine flow and perimenopause and how important journaling is for that. So for anybody who's familiar with this segment, this probably would be a good time to either pause and come back. This is a good time for you to activate that self-care within you and really take some time and space, because Julie is going to be offering some really powerful steps and journaling prompts for you to face this balance, finding balance in perimenopause. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to you, Julie. What the Feminine, a show designed to show the world how to have crucial conversations and still possess conscious choice, remain curious, and be considerate of others' opinions, beliefs, and ideologies. In every episode, we go where most avoid, navigating nuance, honoring differences, and embodying the healthy feminine and masculine as the gateway to global healing. This is not about sides. This is about sovereignty, and you're invited to witness it all. Watch the live recordings exclusively in Sovereign Community, where the conversation begins with you.
Thank you. Yeah, so please feel free to press pause at any time when you just go through these points. But for me personally, the ABC, I created that on my own journey. So A stands for acceptance. We've got B for boundaries, and we've got C for care. So acceptance is at the front because acceptance is probably the hardest bit for a lot of women to face up to, because you can try all the help with boundaries and self-care, but if you don't have the groundwork and the foundations of accepting where you are right now, everything's going to be built on rocky foundations. So for me personally, when I was going through the perimenopause in the first few years, I'm a few years into this now, the first few years, I find it really hard to accept that my body wasn't working the way it used to. I found it hard to even look in the mirror, because even though I feel things have leveled out a bit, in the first few years, I felt like I've aged 5 years in a few minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So acceptance, it's not about disconnecting from who you were a year ago or a week ago. It's about appreciating that was part of your journey, but accepting where you are right now, your energy levels or lack of energy levels, how you look, how you feel, but what amazing things your body is doing right now for you. And just saying whatever comes forward, I'll never be the same version, but I could be part of that version, but an evolved and wiser woman version. So it's about accepting every part of you, and that for some women can be really tough. So I would say to anyone listening and reading the article, have a little look at where you are now and really lean into acceptance. And in it, I know with self-care, we often say, even looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I love you, or you look beautiful today. That's really hard for a lot of women to do. So if you could take time to do that, that's really good as well. So yeah, acceptance is the first step. Boundaries is the second step, and that's a really big one, because we, as I've said previously, we've often run at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then we get to this stage and we're still saying yes to everything when we should be, pushing back, asking for help. And as you politely said, Nicole, is you don't have to say no, you can say not right now. So it's about being aware of where you are taking on too much and really letting go of things that aren't really on your radar, they're not really serving you right now. Because there are things that we do that we've just automatically done, and then we think, well, why are we doing these? I'm not really lit up by this anymore. So it's about really keeping the boundaries quite tight and asking for help as well. And then the final area is care, which I call care, but it's the full self-care. And it's about self-love, self-care. And it doesn't mean, I know for a lot of people that go, does that mean going to the spa or having a day at a beauty salon? It can do, but it's much bigger than that. It's about really nurturing yourself and appreciating yourself. And actually, where we might have gone back to back through our day with just a 20-minute lunch, we should not be doing that right now. We should be having longer breaks. And that's not because you can't cope, it's because you deserve these time. You shouldn't be switched on 24/7. And as we know with technology, you could be switched on 24/7. And we really need to take stock and take a step back. So within self-care, I would always say, take a step back from technology, have sort of downtime, put your phone on do not disturb. It could be that you just go out for a walk in nature, but it really is about slowing down the pace and actually prioritizing you first and then building everything else around you. So that's really the ABC, feminine flow and perimenopause, that I always ask clients and friends just to actually have a look at where they are on that journey right now. And with regards to journal and prompts, there's a few really useful journal and prompts that I'll just run through now. And again, feel free to pause this and maybe pick up a journal and write down answers, or just let the words flow. So the first one would be, in what areas of my life do I feel out of balance right now? That's a really important one. So what areas of my life do I feel out of balance right now? The next journaling prompt is, what truly nourishes my energy? And this can be in the form of, you may find that something that didn't light you up a few years ago, you're really drawn to now. And for me personally, what really nourishes my energy, I hadn't even thought about for 20 years, but I love going dancing again. Probably not the best time to do it with all the brain fog and trying to remember sequence dancing, but I get so much joy from it. So it doesn't have to be something obvious. It could be something you go, actually, this really nourishes my energy. Next question is, where am I still saying yes when my soul is whispering no? An example of this could be career. There's a lot of women I support who have worked in a career, worked up the ladder, and then they've stopped and went, why am I still here? My values no longer link in with the company values, or I just might not get that vibe every day of going to work, that get up and go. So yeah, where am I still saying yes when my soul is whispering no? Another journaling question is, what am I ready to release to feel more at peace? And that links in a lot with the letting go of what no longer serves you. And the final journaling prompt is, how can I invite more gratitude and joy into my daily routine? And that I left to the end is because gratitude to me is so important. I do have a gratitude journal, which I fill in every morning and every evening. And it really does help, especially I would say in the perimenopause, because if you have a bad night's sleep, or before you go to bed, you think, oh gosh, I haven't achieved all the things I wanted to do because I just not felt 100%. That can just bring you back into focusing on the gratitude. So you're tipping the balance of the energy from a lack to a positive. So I just really think gratitude's really important. So I'll just repeat that one again. How can I invite more gratitude and joy into my daily routine?
Oh my goodness. As you can see, she's absolutely amazing. And I'm grateful for Julie because every time I see her, she just has this bright smile on her face and she always lights me up when I see her. So if you're wanting to connect with Julie, she's in our community.sovereign-magazine.com. All her details are in the show notes, so you will be able to find her anywhere. And she has another article coming up. So definitely like, share, and subscribe so that you can stick around and learn more from her. Thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. This is the last episode for this issue. I'll be back again on the new moon with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help you step into your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.